This conference will now be recorded. This conference will now be recorded.
Madam, Preeti madam, మీ వాయిస్ వినబట్లేదు మేడం.
You're not able to hear me? Just 1 second. Give me 1 second, okay? Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So now you're able to hear me, right? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll start from the beginning because I think I'm not audible till now. Or just 1 second. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So the thing is that the second cranial nerve is the optic nerve. So it starts from the optic disc. You know what is optic disc? In the retina you can see there is a optic disc. So it starts from the optic disc and goes till the optic chiasma. What is optic chiasma? If these two are the eyeballs, sorry, from here extends the optic nerve. So till here these nasal fibers will decussate. Decussate means they will cross over, and from here they continue like that, but the lateral fibers they will continue in the same way. So these fibers will decussate. This is called as optic chiasma. Okay, so from in the retina from backwards, that is I told you from optic disc to optic chiasma. From the optic disc where they will go, they go as retinal nerve fiber layers. And this is in the retina and this is in the optic tract. Okay, so now what happens? These things also contains efferent fibers of the right reflex. Okay, so they will receive the right reflex or whatever the object we see, they will be we perceive it on the optic nerve. So what it is an outgrowth of the brain. It is not covered by neurolemma. So once there is a damage, it will never regenerate. Okay, it will never regenerate. So if there is any damage to the optic nerve due while some trauma or some glaucomatous optic nerve damage or whatever it is, if the fibers of the optic nerve once damaged, they will never regenerate. Once lost, they are completely lost. So if you think this is the optic nerve, in the optic nerve there will be millions of optic nerve fibers will be there. So damage to these fibers will cause vision loss. Okay, so it is surrounded by meninges. Both primary and secondary neurons are present in the retina. So optic nerve, this is a Viva question for you. What is the length of the optic nerve? It is about 47 to 50 mm of length. Okay, so optic nerve consists of 4 parts. This is also very important. This is a Viva question for you people. So there are 4 parts on the optic nerve. Intraocular, which is present in the eye, that is we see in the retina as optic disc or called as optic nerve head. So optic disc or optic nerve head which you are seeing in the retina is the intraocular part. Next comes the intraorbital part. So from the from the eyeball in the orbital cavity, it will go back like this, right? So this part is the intraorbital part. That is, it is present in the orbit of the orbit in the body. Okay, so this is intraorbital part, which is the longest part, about 30 mm. Okay, next comes the intracanalicular part. You can see here the picture. This is the intraocular part. This is the intraorbital part. This is the intracanalicular part, and down comes the, when it enters into the brain, it is the intracranial part. So this is intracanalicular, this is intracranial part. Okay, so there are 4 parts. So the longest part is the intraorbital part and the shortest is the intraocular part. So once there is some damage to the optic nerve, what are the signs you see when there is damage to the optic nerve? First one is reduced visual acuity, and the second one is afferent pupillary defect, also called as RAPD. So also called as RAPD, relative afferent pupillary defect. What is this relative afferent pupillary defect? The word itself says there is afferent pathway defect. So what happens normally when you put a torch on the eyeball, into the eye, what happens to the pupil? When you put a torch, what happens to the pupil? It constricts or dilates?
Constricts.
Constricts, ma'am.
So it constricts once you put a torch on the eyeball. So what is afferent pupillary defect? It is reverse. When you put a torch, the pupil starts dilating because the afferent fibers are damaged. It will not take the right reflex to the path in the pathway, so it will start dilating. It is reverse of normal. So there will be dilatation of the pupil immediately when you put a torch on the eye. Then it is called as relative afferent pupillary defect. Next comes visual field defects. The patient starts, there will be initially peripheral field visual defect, or some scotomas will be there, or there will be tubular vision. There will be some visual field defect. These visual field defects can be various types. Okay, it can be like scotomas. Initially, it will start as a scotomas. Then it will slowly the tubular vision ensues and the patient will end up with tubular vision. Next one is dyschromatopsia. What is dyschromatopsia? Dyschromatopsia means deficiency in the color vision. Same deficiency in the color vision will start. Okay, so I told you that the color vision is because of which this thing? Rods or cones?
Cones.
Color vision is
Cones.
due to defective
Cones, ma'am.
cones. So C for C, cones for color vision. Okay, so there will be some defect in the cones because there will be, because of that there will be defect in the color vision. Diminished light sensitivity will be there, diminished contrast sensitivity will be there. So there will be color vision defect, contrast sensitivity defect, and light sensitivity defect also. So when we see in a fundoscopy or ophthalmoscopy, whatever it is, if you try to see the retina, what we will see? There will be changes in the optic disc, because this is all about optic nerve. There will be changes in the optic disc. What are the various types of changes? Depending upon the disease, different types of changes we can see. But what are those? First thing is disc edema, we can see hyperemia of the disc. We can see normally what is the color of the disc, how the disc appears. If you see, this is the optic disc. Inside there will be the optic cup disc ratio. This is cup and this is disc. Cup disc ratio, we say that. Okay, and again what there will be, so this part is called as neuroretinal rim, NRR. So in glaucoma or optic nerve changes, this thing is usually pink in color. This neuroretinal rim is usually pink or orangish pink in color. This will start becoming white in any atrophies. Okay, so this is called as this part. This is cup part, so this is disc part, this is cup part. In between this area is called as neuroretinal rim. So this neuroretinal ring starts becoming pale, that is white in color, when there is some damage to the optic nerve fibers. Okay, so what happens? This complete thing will become pale. This is always white in color or yellowish white in color. This is pink in color, but this one also will become whitish yellow in color. So the complete thing will become pale. It will become white in color, whitish yellow, white or something like that. It becomes pale. Okay, so that is called as, that particular condition is called as optic atrophy. There is death of all the nerve fibers, then the optic atrophy will ensue and it is pale in color. Okay, that is paleness is called as, that paleness is because of defect in the change in color in the neuroretinal rim. Okay, hyperemia means normally you can see this part is white in color, I told you, and this part is pink in color, right? This part will also become pink in color. That is called as hyperemia. Hyperemia, that is called as hyperemia. Okay, so these are the changes we see in the optic disc when you see the retina. So coming to classification of any type of, sorry, so there will be many causes for this damage to the optic nerve. It can be inflammatory, it can be glaucomatous, it is due to some ischemia, sometimes it is hereditary, some nutritional or some toxic diseases, toxic things that cause damage to the optic nerve, papilledema, traumatic, if there is any trauma to the head or to the eyeball, there will be optic nerve compression. If the bone is broken, optic orbital margin or orbital walls are broken, they will start compressing the optic nerve. Because of loss of blood supply, when there is compression, the optic nerve it will not get its nutrition. Because of that, there will be damage to the optic nerve fibers. Okay, next one is compression. The same thing, there will be compression of the optic nerve because of trauma, because of some tumor. There will be compression of the optic nerve, which leads to optic nerve fiber death, which leads to again optic atrophy. Infiltrative, some inflammatory conditions may also cause optic nerve damage. So these are all the things which will cause damage to the optic nerve, which further leads to optic atrophy. So the most common inflammatory cause is optic neuritis. Sorry. The most common cause is optic neuritis. Afternoon class, you can learn where they will teach about this optic neuritis. Okay, so optic neuritis is a very important condition which leads to damage to the optic nerve fibers if we don't treat the patient immediately. Okay, you have to start the patient treatment. You have to start the treatment immediately. If you start it, there are chances of improvement in the vision and the patient may regain his or her vision. Next one is glaucomatous. You know what is glaucoma? Progressive death of the optic nerve fibers. Okay, so we have to stop the progression, or at least you have to try to stop the progression of the optic nerve damage in glaucoma. Next one is ischemia. It is called as AION. anterior ischemic optic neuropathy. Because of ischemia, this one also they'll take a special class, so I'm not going into details. So anterior ischemic optic neuropathy. Okay, next hereditary. The most common cause of hereditary optic neuropathy is Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. This is a Viva question for you. They will all these things we'll discuss in the class, if you upcoming classes. Okay, next some nutritional, toxic, alcohol induction, all these things may cause some cause optic neuropathy. Next, papilledema. Because of raised intracranial tension, there will be edema of the disc. How the edema appears? It appears hyperemic. I told you what is hyperemia. Disc margins will be blurred, and there will be blurred disc margins. There will be raise in the disc margin level because of edema. All these things are features of papilledema. Next one is trauma. I told you how trauma occurs. And next, compressive. Compressive can be because of tumors or some trauma, whatever it is. Next, inflammatory conditions. The most common is sarcoidosis, remaining of tumor, and some infective agents. All these things can cause optic neuropathy. Now I'll go into little bit into congenital anomalies of the optic nerve. Okay, so what are the congenital anomalies of optic nerve? They can be associated with some systemic diseases, or they are just only with without any systemic diseases. So these are things without any systemic diseases, and these are with systemic diseases. Without systemic diseases, tilted optic disc. These are congenital. Depending upon the situation, they can cause visual loss, and they doesn't cause any visual loss. Optic disc drusen, optic disc pit, myelinated fibers. Now fibers, these are all the things which are not associated with systemic diseases. So optic disc coloboma, morning glory syndrome, optic nerve hypoplasia, Aicardi syndrome, megalopapillae, peripapillary staphyloma, and optic disc dysplasia. These things are associated with other systemic diseases along with the disease of the optic nerve. So these are exclusive, which are not associated with any systemic diseases. Now I'll show you some pictures. These are all related to congenital anomalies. So you can see optic disc coloboma. Usually this optic disc coloboma is associated with iris coloboma also. Okay, so if you think this is the optic disc, you can see it is pale, the vessels are towards one side. Okay, so how do you see that this is optic disc coloboma? Usually it is associated with iris coloboma or choroidal coloboma also. Even in choroid you can see coloboma. So usually we rarely see single optic disc coloboma. Usually it is associated with iris coloboma and choroid coloboma. And this is morning glory syndrome. See, like sun rising, you can see how bright yellow. See this color and how this color is bright yellow in color. Okay, now coming to optic disc pit, you can see here this part. This is the, I told you, this is the cup, this is the disc, and this pinkish part what you are seeing, this part is NRR. So you can see a small pit like thing here. So this is called as optic disc pit. Here also you can see this small part. This is optic disc pit. Pit can be anywhere in the optic disc. Okay, here it is here, here it is here. Okay, and this you can see medullated nerve fibers, also called as myelinated nerve fibers. Okay, you can see like this, like feathery margins. Okay, this is myelinated nerve fibers. You can see here, this is myopic disc. If the patient is congenital high myope, you can see myopic disc. This is also one of the congenital disorders. And next one is optic disc drusen. I told you in age-related macular degenerations there will be drusen. Sometimes this drusen is present in the congenital optic disc anomaly. This is optic disc drusen. This is the drusen what you are seeing. Okay, this is optic disc drusen. Okay, and optic disc hypoplasia. There will be hypoplasia of the optic disc. So I'll go into little bit details. So what happens? Optic disc coloboma, you can see here, this is coloboma. Okay, this part is coloboma, this part is coloboma. Why? Because of incomplete closure of the embryonic fissure. If this happens, you can see optic disc coloboma usually associated with choroid and iris coloboma. Usually the defect is present in the inferior aspect. Okay, you can see a white glial mask, you can see here. Okay, so there will be inferior NRR, it will be thin. I told you NRR means neuroretinal vein, because it is present more in the inferior aspect. There will be thin or absent neuroretinal vein. Okay. So next one is, here you can see myelinated nerve fibers, pretty well, or modulated nerve fibers. You can see here, this part is myelinated. See how bright they are. You typically, it will present it like this only. And you can see very frequently, at least in 200 patients or 300 patients, one patient will have myelinated nerve fibers. White feathery patches that follow the nerve fiber layer. I told you, after coming to the optic nerve head, that is the intraocular part, it will go into the nerve fiber layer of the retina, right? So usually these are the nerve fiber layers which are present in the nerve fiber layer of the retina. You can see the peripheral edges here, they are fanned out like this, right? Simulated disc edema, but this is not disc edema. These are nerve fibers. You can see very obviously, when once you see, you'll never forget it. Okay. Now coming to optic disc pit. Here is the pit. Here is the pit. Usually seen temporally, yes, but sometimes you can see nasally also. Gray or whitish depression present in the optic disc. Okay, this is the optic disc pit. Next one is tilted optic disc. Tilted optic disc, normally what happens? See, this is how the retina normally, if this is the optic disc, okay. So here will be the optic cup, and here comes the blood vessels. But here you can see blood vessels are towards one end, completely to one end they are. Okay, so occurs when nerve exits the eye at an oblique, nerve exits the eye in an oblique angle. So from here the nerve exits, right? If it is exists in an oblique angle, then this tilted optic disc comes. Usually it is superotemporal. The disc is elevated. You can see it is the blood vessels on this side, and it appears, if it is 3D, it would have been better. It appears elevated. Okay. So this is tilted optic disc and optic disc drusen. Here is the drusen. This part is the drusen. Okay. So it is because of remnants of axonal transport, degenerated retinal ganglion cells. Next, coming the very important thing which is associated with some systemic diseases is the morning glory syndrome. Okay. Congenital funnel shaped excavation of the posterior pole. This is the morning glory flower. Okay, so here you can see how it appears center like this. This part is the center, and here is the flower petals. You can see these, you can resemble like this. White tuft of glial tissue will cover the central portion. This is the glial tissue. It will cover the central portion. Okay, there will be increase in the blood vessels. It appears more hyperemic when compared to the normal days. Okay, so usually this is also, sorry. So you can see it, like this morning glory flavor, like it appears with hyperemic. Just 1 second. So it appears like this, like a funnel shaped excavation from the posterior surface. Okay. So this is about morning glory syndrome. Next one is optic nerve hypoplasia. What is optic nerve hypoplasia? It appears abnormal due to less number of axons. There will be less number of axons. And the disc will be pale, or grayish in color, light colored peripapillary halo. You can see this is also called as double ring sign. This picture it's not that clear. You can see this is the optic disc and this is the cup, and in the periphery you can see a whitish halo, light colored halo. So you can see this is double ring, right? So that's the reason it is called as double ring sign. Okay, so where we see double ring sign, we see in optic nerve hypoplasia. Okay, so next one is Accardia syndrome. What is Accardia syndrome? It is a very rare genetic disorder. Corpus callosum is partly or completely missing in this Accardia syndrome. So this Accardia syndrome, you can see how the disc, it is very pale here. Very pale here, and you can see hyperpigmentation overall here. Okay, usually this is associated with some seizures or some infantile spasms like that. Usually, I told you that this is a systemic association. It is X-linked disorder. It is an X-linked dominant disorder. Okay, so you can see in the retina like this. Okay, also sometimes the patient will have medulloblastoma, okay, rectal polyps, okay, all these things usually it is associated with all these things. Okay, so this is about Accardia syndrome. This is what we see in the retina. Next one is megalopapillae. Abnormal large disc with large cup disc ratio, and the NRR will be pale. You can see how big the cup is here. See, this is the cup and this is the disc. See how big the cup is. Usually the disc will be like this and cup will be like this. But see this, how big the cup is. Okay, and how big this cup disc ratio will be very high. And you can see that usually the NRR will be pale here because NRR will be thinned out. When the cup is big, this NRR will become thin. When compared to normal, this NRR will be pale. Okay, next one is peripapillary staphyloma. You can see this is the optic disc, this is the optic cup, and you can see this is the peripapillary staphyloma. Usually it is unilateral. Because of changes in the retinal layer, I told you there are layers of the retina, RPE, retinal pigment epithelium. There will be atrophy of the RPE layer. Because of that, there will be staphyloma. But it is not. It sometimes resemble medullary nerve fibers. But you can differentiate it by medullary nerve fibers will have these feathery margins, like like feathery type. But this is not having that type of pattern. Okay. So this is about peripapillary edema. Sorry, peripapillary staphyloma. Now coming to papilledema. Swelling of the optic nerve head, that is the optic disc, what we are seeing in the ocular part, because of raised intracranial tension. Because some other reasons there will be raised intracranial tension, it will cause compression of the optic nerve. The raised intracranial tension will cause compression of the optic nerve. So initially there will be papilledema. If you don't treat the patient, you don't treat the underlying cause, then the patient will end up with optic atrophy. So these are various stages in the papilledema, the 4 stages of the papilledema. Early phase, you can see, okay, in this you can see that you are not able to see cup properly, completely pink colored. The cup is not seen properly. Okay, it is mixed with the neuroretinal rim. So this is called as obliterated cup, obliterated cup, because the cup is not having its contour. And this is established. You can see that the margins are blurred. You're not able to see the disc margins properly. It's not well defined like this. You can see these are blurred. You can see some hemorrhages here. These are hemorrhages, associated with hemorrhages. As usual, cup disc is not properly seen. So this is established stage of papilledema. Next comes the chronic stage. Chronic stage, you can see blood vessels. They see the cup is also still not. This is called as established phase. You can see it is becoming pale slowly. When compared to this early phase, you can see it is little bit pale. It is little bit pale. Now comes the atrophic phase. You can see it is completely pale. No pink color. It's completely pale. Whitish it has become. Now this is called as atrophic phase. There are 4 phases in papilledema: early, established, chronic, and atrophic phases. There are 4 stages. So you can see this is primary optic atrophy. This is secondary optic atrophy. This optic atrophy will have a special class you have. Okay. Now optic neuropathy, I told you AION, right? AION, anterior ischemic optic neuropathy. So this is anterior ischemic optic neuropathy. In this there are 2 types, arteritic and non-arteritic. So this is non-arteritic type and this is arteritic type. All these things we will deal again in another classes we can have. Okay. So any doubts regarding this? Am I audible or not?
Yes.
Okay. So any doubts?
No.
So what actually I want to keep a quiz for you this week. I thought of arranging a quiz, whatever classes I have taken. But there is no time for me. I couldn't do that. Please don't give your attendance. Please, I'll take it in the diagnostics. You please don't give your attendance. But I want a feedback from you people so that I can improve myself. Okay, you can just keep your feedback in the chat box right now. I'll give you 10 minutes. You can just please all of you keep type your feedbacks in your chat so I can improve myself, nothing else. Okay, please give your feedback in the chat box right now. If you want any changes in my presentations or if you want any improvement, whatever it is, you can just type in the chat box. No issues. I'll not take it in a negative way, just to improve myself. Please keep your feedback in your chat box. మీరు నెగిటివ్ గా పెట్టినా నేను ఏం అనుకోను, మిమ్మల్ని ఏదో ఏమి పాయింట్అవుట్ చేయను, అలా ఏం చేయను, జస్ట్ టు ఇంప్రూవ్ మై సెల్ఫ్. నౌ స్టార్ట్ చాట్ టైపింగ్. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. మరి టైప్ చేయండి.